On our channel Legends Leaving, we'll be back this Sunday with more honors. We've put together this video to honor the famous stars who died today, July 28, 2024. Legendary people who made important contributions to their works and who sadly have died today. We're sorry for the family and friends lost. Peace out. First, though, we'd love it if you showed your love by liking this video and following the channel by subscribing. The Oldřich Janota, having been born in Pelsen, Czechia on August 27, 1949, he went to Charles University in Prague to study writing and graduated in 1975. Janota started making music in 1975, and in 1975 and in 1977, he and Jakob Noha started the band Pentagram. Another thing he did was play in the band Mozart K from 1978 to 1983 with Emil Pasposel on guitar and Setter and Jan Stolba on saxophone. His music was a unique mix of traditional folk music and new experimental rhythms. The book Guitarist Palmo, which collected his songs, came out in 2015. Next year, an 8-disc box set called Ultimate Nothing came out. It had all of his songs from the 1970s to the present day. But for his 60th birthday in 2009, a tribute record called Strassini Vesvedi, a tribute to Oldřich Janota, was released. It had 17 songs that honored his impact on the music scene. Janota died on July 27, 2024. He made a lot of important musical contributions by being open to new ideas and working hard to combine traditional folk music with modern experimental aspects. Music fans and other musicians who admired his creative vision and musical talents will remember him. 9. Martin Phillipps, the lead singer and member of the New Zealand rock band The Chills, has died. He was 61 years old. The sad news that Phillipps had died suddenly was shared on the band's social media pages. The family has asked for privacy at this time, and more information about the funeral will be given later. His sister Rachel Phillipps played piano, Jane Dodd played bass, Peter Gutteridge played guitar, and Alan Haig played drums. Phillipps started The Chills in 1980. As soon as they started, the band got a lot of fans in New Zealand. They then spread to Europe and the US. Hits like Pink Frost, Heavenly Pop hit, I Love My Leather Jacket, and Kaleidoscope World made them famous. Their album Submarine Bells, released in 1990, got a lot of good reviews. Melody Maker even called it a magical experience. Even though the band was popular, they had problems in the late 1990s when their US label went out of business and they lost some of their fame. Phillipps was honest about how the digital revolution and changing musical tastes had affected the band, admitting that it was hard for them to adjust. During this time, he struggled with drug and alcohol abuse, as well as hepatitis C, which he called a life-threatening illness that made him face his own death. The Chills' first studio record in 19 years, Silver Bullets, came out in 2015. Snowbound came out in 2018 and Scatterbrain in 2021. In 2019, a documentary called The Chills, The Triumph and Tragedy of Martin Phillipps came out. It gives an in-depth look at Phillipps' life and battles, including how he dealt with the terrible effects of hepatitis C. The movie showed how strong he was and the problems he had in his personal life. Callum Hampton, Todd Knudsen, Erica Scally, and Ollie Wilson are the current members of The Chills. Phillipps is praised on the band's website for his unwavering commitment to quality, unique, melodic rock music with a New Zealand sound. Fans and friends alike will remember what he did for music and how it changed the world. Janota, a Czech singer-songwriter who was known for taking new approaches to folk music, has died at the age of 74. Janota was noted for using basic and experimental styles in his music, as well as pre-recorded tapes. He passed away on July 27, 2024. Journalist, author, and daughter of the late Lena Horne, Gail Lumet Buckley, died on July 28, 2024, from heart failure. She was 86 years old. Buckley was born in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania on December 21, 1937. She was famous for writing a lot about her black middle-class family's past and making important contributions to journalism. Buckley grew up in Brooklyn and Los Angeles, but she didn't follow in her mother's footsteps into Hollywood. The year she graduated from Radcliffe College, she worked for a short time at Marie Claire magazine in Paris. When she got back to the U.S., she worked as a guide for the National Scholarship Service and Fund for Students. In 1962, she started working as a reporter at Life magazine. The New York Times, the Los Angeles Times, the Daily News of New York, and Vogue were just a few of the big magazines she wrote for. Buckley's first book, The Horns: An American Family, came out in 1986. It was about her family's past through 6 generations. She talked about how exciting it was to connect specific family items with Black American history in a bigger way. In 2016, she wrote a book called The Black Calhouns: From the Civil War to Civil Rights, with one African American family. It was about her family's politics and historical experiences from the time of Reconstruction to the Harlem Renaissance. It was called American Patriots and told the story of Black soldiers from the Revolution to Desert Storm. It won the Robert F. Kennedy Book Award in 2001. Radical Sanctity, Race, and Radical Women in the American Catholic Church, her most recent book, which came out in 2023, was about famous people in the American Catholic Church. Sidney Lumet was Buckley's husband from 1963 until his death in 2011. They had 2 children together, Jenny Lumet and Amy Lumet. Also, she was married to Kevin Buckley for 38 years until he died in 2021. Buckley's daughters and 2 grandkids will miss her. She left a big mark on both journalism and literature, which shows how much she cared about preserving and celebrating the past of her family and community. 7. Janet Andrewortha was a famous Australian actress who worked on TV and in the theater for more than 40 years. Andrewortha started out as a music teacher, but she became interested in acting after putting on a high school show. This sparked her love of the performing arts. She started taking a drama class part-time and finally went to the National Theatre in Melbourne full-time, where she graduated in 1979. She started her career with parts in Australian TV shows and plays like Rebecca Reb Keane in Prisoner and Lynn Scully in Neighbours. Andrewortha did important theatre work in the early 1980s, including a one-woman show called Singing in the Raid that went on tour in Melbourne. She also worked on many shows with the Playbox Theatre Company and the Melbourne Theatre Company. Her role as Reb Keane in Prisoner was a defining one, and even though her character left the show, Andrewortha briefly played the part again in 1985. She was so versatile that she could play different parts in the Three Penny Opera and shows like Reservoir by Night and Never in My Lifetime. Andrewortha won a Leading Actor Award at the 1987 Green Room Awards for her part in Tom and Viv in the late 1980s. She kept doing great work on TV and in the theater. One of her most famous parts was as Marion Stewart in Embassy, for which she was nominated for an Australian Film Institute Award in 1991. In the 1990s and early 2000s, Andrewortha had parts on stage in Othello, A Happy and Holy Occasion, and Underwear, Perfume, and Crash Helmet. She came back to TV with Neighbours, where she played Lynn Scully from 1999 to 2006, with short cameos in 2008, 2009, and again from 2011 to 2013. Andrewortha went on to play parts in the SBS drama Safe Home and the Paramount Plus horror Fake, her last time on TV and in the theater. The long-term illness that Janet Andrewortha had led to her death on July 26, 2024 in Melbourne, Australia. Friends and co-stars on the show Neighbours, Jackie Woodburn, who remembered her fondly and called her one of the best actors of her age, agreed. Her amazing amount of work and the difference she made in Australian performing arts are things that will live on. 6. Misha, whose real name was Susana Maria Alfonso de Aguiar, was a famous Portuguese fado singer who was known for taking new approaches to the traditional style. Misha performed in many languages, such as Spanish, French, Catalan, English, and Japanese. This showed how her music was influenced by a wide range of languages. Her Catalan mother, who used to be a theater dancer, taught her different kinds of music like tango and bolero, which had a big impact on Misha's sound. She brought the traditional Portuguese guitar style of fado up to date by adding instruments like the accordion and violin, and often singing lines by famous Portuguese poets. The self-titled Misha record, Misha's first solo album, came out in 1990. She became famous, especially in France, even though fado wasn't very popular at the time. Her later albums like Fado 1993 and Tanto Menos Tanto Mais 1995 continued to show how she could combine classic and modern styles. Guitarist Sentidos, which came out in 1998 and had lyrics by famous Portuguese writers and new musical arrangements, made her famous all over the world. Her albums Pesos Diagonés 1999 and Ritual 2001, which were tributes to other artists, made her an even bigger name in modern fado. People really liked Missia's 2003 record Canto because it had guitar playing by Carlos Paredes and poems by Vasco Graca Mora. She called it her gallery of impossible things. On the album Drama Box, released in 2005, she played a cabaret artist in a made-up hotel. In 2009, Ruiz, she sang music that wasn't just fado. Her 2011 album, Sonora de Noite, had only lyrics written by women, which showed how much she cared about promoting female views. Misha worked with artists from around the world on Delicatessen Cafe in 2013, and her 2016 album, Do Primero Fado Ao Ultimo Tango, was a collection of her best songs. Missia's last record, Animal Sentimental, and the 2019 movie soundtrack Pura Vida showed how she kept growing as an artist. Misty died on July 27, 2024, from problems caused by a long-term sickness. Her new ideas and contributions to fado have left a lasting mark on the world of music, and both fans and partners will always remember her with love. 5. Kelly Nellen Clarke was a major player in inspirational Christian and Southern gospel music. She died in a terrible plane crash in Campbell County, Wyoming on July 26, 2024. Renowned choir singer Rex Nealon and his wife Shirley had a daughter named Nellen Clarke on December 1st, 1959. She was born in Atlanta, Georgia. Kelly was born and raised in Smyrna, Georgia. She started her singing career when she was young and joined the Southern gospel group, the Levers, which later turned into the Nellons. What Kelly did for church music was important and will be remembered for a long time. In 2016, the Nellons were inducted into the Gospel Music Hall of Fame, which shows how long-lasting their impact is. Nellen Clarke won several Singing News Fan Awards in the 1980s and 1990s for being the Reader's best alto musician and female singer. She was also a big deal at Bill Guider's homecoming events and put out a number of solo records. Some of them are Her Father's Child and Steadfast Heart. She worked in movies and TV shows as well as music, with parts in The Old Rugged Cross and His Love is Blind, and appearances on shows like Resurrection and Homicide Hunter. Kelly Nellen Clarke was married to Jerry Thompson, who used to be the lead singer of the Nellons. They had 2 children together, Amber and Autumn. Both girls were very important to the Nellons. Amber will sing as a soprano and Autumn will be an alto second soprano. She married Jason Clarke in 2001, and he went on to become the lead singer of the Nellons. 7 people were killed in the plane crash on their way to a Guider homecoming cruise. They included Jason and Amber, their helper Nathan Kistler, Amber's husband, and the pilot and his wife. This terrible loss means the end of an amazing time for the Nellons and church music in general. 4. John Romo Mayalobi was an English blues and rock musician, songwriter, and producer who left an indelible mark on the music industry. Born on November 29, 1933 in Macclesfield, Cheshire, England, Mayle developed a passion for music at a young age. Heavily influenced by his father's jazz record collection, he taught himself to play guitar, piano, and harmonica, immersing himself in the sounds of blues and jazz. In the early 1960s, he moved to London and formed John Mayall, the Blues Breakers, a band that would become a cornerstone of the British blues scene. John Mayall, the Blues Breakers, achieved legendary status, serving as a training ground for some of the most famous blues and blues rock musicians. Notable members included Eric Clapton, Peter Green, Mick Fleetwood, John McVie, and Mick Taylor, all of whom went on to achieve great fame in their own right. The band's 1966 album, Blues Breakers with Eric Clapton, is considered a seminal work, introducing many to the power and emotion of electric blues. Mayall's leadership, musical skills, and knack for recognizing and nurturing talent were instrumental in shaping the careers of these musicians. Throughout his extensive career, Mayall recorded dozens of albums and remained an active performer well into his later years. He continued to tour and release new music, always staying true to his blues roots while exploring new musical territories. His contributions to music were recognized with numerous awards and honors, including being appointed an Officer of the Order of the British Empire, OB, for his services to music. Tragically, John Mayall passed away on July 22, 2024, at the age of 90. His death marked the end of an era for the blues community, but his influence and legacy continue to resonate. Mayall's dedication to the blues and his role in popularizing the genre have left an enduring impact on music history. He will be remembered not only for his own musical prowess, but also for his ability to mentor and inspire countless musicians who have followed in his footsteps. 3. Shannen Doherty was a famous American actress who played important parts on TV and in movies. Doherty was born in Memphis, Tennessee. She got her start in show business early on, playing Jenny Wilder on Little House on the Prairie from 1982 to 1983 in Maggie Malene and Girls Just Want to Have Fun in 1985. Her roles as Chris Witherspoon in Our House, which ran from 1986 to 1988, and Heather Duke and Heathers, which came out in 1989, made her even more well-known as a versatile actor. Doherty became well-known for her roles as Brenda Walsh in Beverly Hills, 900 Two-Toe 1990 to 1994, 2008 to 2009, 2019, and Prue Halliwell in Charm 1998 to 2001. Dobbs and Fortress 2021 was her last movie part. Shannen Doherty was born in Memphis on April 12, 1971. She was raised in the Southern Baptist faith of her mother. She had Irish and Native American roots. As a guest star in 1982, Doherty was on Michael Landon's shows Voyagers and Father Murphy. This led to her regular part as Jenny Wilder on Little House on the Prairie. She did voice work for the cartoon movie The Secret of an IMH and was in the TV shows Magnum P.I. and Airwolf. In 1984, she was nominated for the Youth in Film Awards for Best Young Actress. Doherty was in the 1985 movie Girls Just Want to Have Fun with Helen Hunt and Sarah Jessica Parker. From 1986 to 1988, she played Chris Witherspoon on Our House and was nominated for several Young Artist Awards. In 1988, she got a big break in the dark comedy Heathers, but it was her part as Brenda Walsh in Beverly Hills 921 Hell that made her famous all over the world. In 1991 and 1992, Doherty was nominated for a Young Artist Award. After 4 years, she quit the show in 1994. As part of his work, Doherty posed for Playboy in 1993 and 1994, and again in 2003. She kept making movies for TV, but she also had a small role in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back and was the lead in Kevin Smith's Mallrats 1995. In 1998, she joined Charmed as Prue Halliwell and directed a few episodes before leaving in 2001 because she was said to be having problems with her co-star Alyssa Milano. Even so, Doherty was nominated for a Saturn Award in 1999 and 2000 for her part on Charmed. In 2004, Doherty was named one of the 50 most evil women in prime time by E! In 2007, AOL named her character Prue Halliwell the 10th best witch in TV history. In 2003, she was the host of the sci-fi station Scare Tactics, and from 2004 to 2005, she was the lead in the TV show North Shore. Doherty made and acted in the reality show Breaking Up with Shannen Doherty in 2006. Besides that, she was in the British show Bow in the US in 2006. He played lead roles in Kiss Me Deadly, a Jacob Keane assignment, and the holiday movie Christmas Caper in 2007. She started a production business called No Apologies to work on a TV drama. On Entertainment Weekly's list of the 100 best TV icons in 2007, Doherty came in at number 96. In 2008, she joined the cast of 9210, the spin-off of Beverly Hills 9210, and played Brenda Walsh again in several episodes. Later in his career, Doherty had lead roles in the independent film Burning Palms 2010 and the Sci-Fi Channel film The Lost Treasure of the Grand Canyon 2008. She was on Dancing with the Stars in 2010, but she was the first person to be kicked off. In the cartoon web series Mari Kari 2010, she did the voices of both Mari and Carrie. In 2011, she was on the reality show Shannon Says, which followed her and Kurt Iswaranko as they got ready for their wedding. Doherty switched roles in 2012 and started speaking for Education Connection. She also played Brenda Walsh on The New Normal. In 2015, she appeared with Holly Marie Combs on the television show Off the Map with Shannon and Holly. Doherty was cast in the TV show Heathers, but because it had some dark themes, it was delayed and only showed in some places. Her part as Brenda Walsh was brought back for VH9 in 2019, and she was in the movie Undateable John in 2019. Doherty had problems in her personal life, like being married more than once and fighting breast cancer in public after being discovered in 2015. Even though she had a lot of care, her cancer came back and reached stage 4 by 2020. In 2023, it spread to her brain. Shannon Doherty died on July 13, 2024. She was a strong woman who gave many great acts. 2. Martin Sean Indyk was a notable American ambassador and foreign relations analyst who was born on July 1, 1951, in London, England. He was known for being very knowledgeable about issues in the Middle East. When Indyk was a child, his family moved to Australia. He later went to the University of Sydney and got a bachelor's degree in economics. After that, he went to the Australian National University to get his PhD. In international relations, when Indyk went to the U.S. and became a citizen in 1993, he began his real work in diplomacy and foreign policy. As a member of the U.S. government, Indyk made important contributions to policy. For example, he was the U.S. ambassador to Israel twice, from 1995 to 1997, and again from 2000 to 2001. Because he knew so much about the Middle East, he was very important to peace talks and U.S. Foreign policy in the area. Indyk was a diplomat for a while and then became a distinguished fellow in international diplomacy at the Brookings Institution in Washington, D.C. He did this job from 2001 to 2018. Later, he became executive vice president at Brookings and made a big difference in the organization's research and policy suggestions on foreign relations.an. Important part of Indyk's career was his time as a special envoy for talks between Israel and the Palestinians. There, his diplomatic skills helped open lines of communication and find solutions to difficult problems. A lot of people wanted his advice and knowledge, and he became a respected figure in conversations about U.S. foreign policy and politics in the Middle East. Martin Sean Indyk died on July 25, 2024. He was a politician who worked hard to improve ties between countries. His work has had a lasting effect on how we understand and deal with problems in the Middle East, and politicians and scholars are still influenced by it. Indyk worked hard to make the area peaceful and stable, and he also made important academic accomplishments. His legacy will be remembered and appreciated for many years to come. 1. Jacques Pascal, known as Pascal Dunel, was born in Paris, France on March 31, 1944. It wasn't long before he became a big name in French pop music. His unique voice and emotional songs made him even more popular. Dunel's musical journey began in the early 1960s when he started playing in local coffee shops and clubs. His ability slowly became known. The hit song La Plage aux Antiques, which came out in 1966, was his big break. It showed off his clever lyrics and great sense of melody. The hit song made him a national star and was the start of a long and successful career. Pascal Dunel ruled the French pop charts in the late 1960s and early 1970s with a string of hit songs such as Kilimanjaro and Comme un enfant. There were a lot of romantic and sad themes in his songs which really hit home with his fans and made them loyal. Dunel was a famous figure in French pop music because he could make people feel deep feelings through his songs. In addition to being a singer, he was also a very good composer who wrote songs for other singers and added to the music scene at the time. When Pascal Dunel died on July 25, 2024, he was 80 years old. He left behind a lot of great songs. Fans and artists alike still love his songs, which are known for having deep lyrics and beautiful melodies. It took Dunel many years to make a name for himself in French pop music, which will never be the same. His records and the memories of people who were moved by his music will last forever, making him one of the most famous voices of his time. Today, July 28, 2024, rumors began circulating on Twitter about the alleged death of actress Kathy Bates. These false reports have caused considerable alarm among fans and the public. However, we want to set the record straight and assure everyone that Kathy Bates is alive and well. In fact, Kathy Bates addressed these baseless rumors directly on his Instagram account earlier today. Kathy Bates took to Instagram to dispel the unfounded rumors and reassure his followers of his good health. The famous American actress Kathy Bates has had a lot of health problems and personal problems throughout her life. Notable for her strong roles in movies like Titanic, Misery, and Fried Green Tomatoes, Bates has won many awards, including an Academy Award and several Emmy Awards. But behind her successful work, Bates has had some very serious health problems. She was told she had ovarian cancer in 2003, but she kept the news to herself while she was getting treatment. She miraculously beat the disease, but she still had to deal with other health problems. In 2012, Bates got another scary news: she had breast cancer. She decided to be open about her condition this time and had a double mastectomy. After the surgeries, the person got lymphedema, a painful long-term disease that affects the lymphatic system. Bates has been through a lot, but she has stayed strong and is now an advocate for cancer awareness and lymphedema education. Many people have been moved by how open she is about her health problems, which has brought much-needed attention to these problems. Kathy Bates' mother, Brittany Kathleen Talbot Bates, died in 1997. It was one of the saddest times in her life because she and her mother were so close that death hurt her a lot. This personal tragedy and her health problems put Bates' strength and willpower to the test. Still, she has continued to do well in her personal and professional life. She uses her experiences to fuel her political work and connect with people on a deeper level. Bates' story is one of strength and bravery, showing that she was able to get through hard times and still make a big difference in the entertainment business and beyond.